YouTube. Saw something deeply disturbing and disappointing today on YouTube. It was a video from 2013, November the 27th, on a channel called The Brain Scoop. The Brain Scoop, for want of a better word, is probably the most educational video you could watch if your interests have to do with animal anatomy, taxidermy, the natural world, museums, collections, that kind of stuff, right? All very interesting stuff, deeply entertaining and engaging watch. All of the videos on that channel are just good. But I saw this one. The person who presents that show, lady name of Emily, had to post a video because of the amount of comments she received about her appearance and about her sense of dress and this and that, and none of it really had to do with the thrust of the channel. It's appalling to me that in this day and age we still treat, or some of us still treat, members of the opposite sex with, I don't even know how to describe it, but I guess you could call it a form of casual derision. You know, it's not like people are being deliberately jerks, but they are nonetheless being jerks. And gigantic phallus jerks at that. They're just being complete phalluses. I'd use the other word, but I'm trying to expand my vocabulary a little bit. Anyway, point of the matter being, this is the 21st century. Okay? We are living in an age where you can talk on one side of the planet to the other side of the planet with a video message in virtually with very little delay. We're talking about living in an age where we are launching telescopes that are looking into the most distant past that human minds can comprehend. Way beyond that in some cases, and some of the comments on this channel were just the gutter. They were like the worst example you could have of misogynistic utterance, and I find that really disappointing. I find it disappointing from the perspective of the whole human race, because it means that as a species the quality of our interactions is not what it should be. But also, I find it deeply disappointing as a male. I grew up in a household where basically the male in my household who was supposed to be my role model wasn't particularly great. But even with that in my upbringing, I'd never let my ego as a male override my sense of propriety, really. It's just not appropriate to insist that someone focus on their gender when they were perfectly happily wandering through their lives, doing this and that, without actually paying any particular consideration to who they happen to be. When people who have influence make the focus of that influence about what they know and what they've done, as opposed to what they are perceived to be, they are stepping outside of themselves, and they're actually living life as we're supposed to live it. My opinion is, I'm a guy, right? But that doesn't mean that I have to be a misogynistic prick. At the same time, women, they don't have to live up to the stereotypes that spring up around them. And I think for males from the current generation, the current cycle of life of man, to still be stuck with this weird idea that women should care what we believe about them, that a man's opinion should somehow have any particular weight where a woman is concerned, and how she decides to comport herself. It's utterly ridiculous, and I think it's time we pretty much gave that up. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm a guy, okay? I like women. But I also respect them enough to know that what I say has no relevance to their lives. Or at least it damn well shouldn't. And it's also important to realise that if it shouldn't have any relevance, then whatever you thought you were going to utter that might well play into that, might well play into their feelings about themselves, probably isn't worth uttering. You know what you should probably do is shut the hell up. That's what you should probably do. So yeah, YouTube. Particularly testosterone-filled idiot blokes on YouTube. Either gain some depth and something beyond your stereotypical egoism, or shut up. Either gain some intellect or be quiet, because you are really making a really bad advert for your gender by doing what you're doing, and you're stifling people who really ought to be given the leeway and the freedom to be who they are and what they want to be. Because who they are and what they want to be in virtually all cases, especially in the case of Emily from the Brain Scoop, it's good. Okay? So leave it the hell alone.